Hi, my name's Erwin, and I like beer, and we are Beer Metrics. One thing I don't like is standing in front of a beer cooler for about 20 minutes, staring at a bunch of beers I've never had, and wondering what am I going to take home tonight, and am I going to like it? What I do love, and what is awesome, are apps that actually do the thinking for me. And when I open up an app like Netflix, and there's a ton of movies there that I didn't even know that I liked, that's an awesome experience. And what we're going to do is bring that experience to beer buying. And we're Beer Metrics. So how are we going to do this? Yeah, and it turns out that I'm not alone. So we went out and we took some surveys. We've talked to a lot of people here. We've talked to a lot of people that we knew through Twitter and our friends. And we sent out a survey to everybody. So it turns out that a lot of people, when they get home with the beer that they spent so much money for, they don't even like it. And it took them over 10 minutes to find that beer to begin with. And one thing that's going to make this all better is something called the beer flavor chart, which none of you will ever have to see again. So we took this chart of over 100 different characteristics and flavors and profiles of beer, and we fed it into our BrewMetrics platform. We indexed beers off the web and searched for keywords and came up with, so that all the beers in our database now have attributes, and all you need to do is find a beer that you like, and our app will find a bunch more just like it that you can take home, and you're guaranteed to like them also. So here's a live sample, live video of the application running. We actually have this loaded on about 3 or 4 demo phones. The software's up there, it's running, and it works. So you log in so that it can keep track of beers that you've already had. But the important thing here is when you go to find a new beer, it's going to bring up a previous list of beers that you may have had. And here I'm going to click on so what I'm going to click on is actually an IPA. And so what it's going to do is go and find other beers with the same characteristics of that beer. They're not all going to be IPAs. They just have the same flavor profile. Something that I've already identified that I like and I want more of. And as I go through this list, these are beers that I've never had before, but I know they're the same as the beer that I just clicked on, so I'm going to like them. And as I go through this list, I'm discovering more and more beers. I may click on like a porter at this point and just keep discovering more and more beer. So I can follow this chain as long as I want and keep identifying more and more beer. So here's a porter I've never had before. It's going to bring back more beers that are just like that porter. They're not all porters, some are stouts. There may even be an IPA or two out there that has the same sort of heaviness of the porter that I clicked on. So we have this right now. We're collecting all the data. We're bringing it into our platform. And there's all the there's all the details of that beer. I can look at it some more. Keep going. Now it's bringing up some stouts. This is actually all running live for us. So we had a great team of software developers that were able to build this over the weekend, and we did some demos. Is that it? So where's our market? Turns out the market for craft beers is also a lot like me and a lot like us. We are the Gen X people and the millenniums. We have cell phones, and we spend money on good beer. So we've identified over 50 million potential users in our target market. These aren't the same people that know everything there is about beer. They just want to go into a store and walk out with a 6-pack of beer that they're going to love when they get home.
Got a minute.
Okay. And so everybody loves beer and they love beer even more. They still love beer. Okay, so we've identified the 50 million users. We have so the secondary market are the actual retailers. We've identified over 45,000 retail stores that said they could actually use this app for their staff, which are often college students, and they have high turnover. They don't always know beers at bottle shops and restaurants and bars. They're going to get the premium unlimited search feature for $50 a month, plus the analytics. We've identified our costs over the next couple of years, and once we get sustainable, looking forward, we have less costs than we have money coming in which is always a great thing.
Time. Good job.
Thank you very much. Your message.
So, Erwin, I'm Don. I too like beer. So, question: if I like several different kinds of beer, can I put in multiple beers? So, how would that?
Absolutely. So, thank you. So this is the straightforward, very intuitive interface. But through discoverability, the more you would use the app, you find out that it does have something like the Pandora channels, where you can set up something where you like, maybe you'll like IPAs and these kind of IPAs. So if you group them together, you can save off your channel, and then always bring back more new beers of a particular style and brand. You could keep adding all the beers to one like profile, and that ends up a lot like a Pandora channel, if you've ever used Pandora, where you just add, you like everything, and the next thing you know, you're not sure what it's called.
Is there an app for or identifier for free beer?
Free beer?
That's the best, right?
Version 2.
Okay, so I have a question. You might want to be careful you say guarantee that you will like.
Guarantee that you're going to like
Said you
it?
will guarantee.
That may be a little hyperbole up here. Absolutely.
What about, I mean, I like beer too.
But there's
So, I mean, that's fine on the guarantee. I get that. I could discover beer that is not available through this.
So what we're identifying, and so if we could actually identify the inventory of the place that you're at, you know, not just the geolocation, which is easy to do, but having the beer vendor's inventory, we'd have to plug in the POS system. And you know, looking forward, I actually talked to the owner of the bottle shop in Mount Lebanon, and the POS systems just aren't identified for that. So as a secondary thing to do is the Pennsylvania has publicly available what beers are available in our state, so we can limit it by that, which we'll bring back. And if that doesn't work, you can, once you have the list in front of you, you can just go down the list and and talk to the person there and say, do you have this, do you have that, and that sort of thing. But you're right, and ideally one day we'll be able to integrate with their vending inventory system.
So how does the preference engine work, first of all, and then secondly, how do you make money?
So the preference engine that you see here is just off the beer that you're choosing at that time. So because people's preferences change all the time, and we don't want to store too much of that information, and you'll get stuck with the same beers over and over.
How do you do matches though? If I like this beer, how do you know?
So the chart had over 100 different characteristics of beer that include sweetness and hoppiness and all kinds, like 4 or 5 or 10 different things about hops, and even things like acidity and pH level and all the stuff that I would never know to type in or to search for. But because I said I like Blue Moon, it already knows the acidity level of Blue Moon, the pH level of Blue Moon, and it's doing fuzzy matching off a range of values. So based off of, we pulled the data from right now from the Beer Advocate, and we're going to keep improving that formula in the back end. So the results for the actual app are going to keep improving since we control the service mode. And then to make money, we're charging for the app, the base app, and then we are charging a monthly fee for the actual retailers.
I have one more question. What do you think this could apply to the wine industry?
It could absolutely, if you have the data, our search engine or preference matching engine could apply to any product category that you have. It could even match both, if you like this beer to this wine, so it can actually apply across things. But our play right now is for beer. There are other companies that are doing it for wine already, so they kind of left beer out in the cold.
Give it up for Brew Metrics.